Good day to you, our esteemed viewers, and I hope you are keeping safe with the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic that is still ravaging the world. Let's continue to abide by the safety protocols and guidelines. Let's use our nose mask, let's wash our hands regularly, use your alcohol-based hand sanitizers, and of course, maintain social distancing. It's time to talk safety again on our Road Safety Educative Program on TV. Trace FR, courtesy Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, an agency of government charged with the administration and control of road traffic matters in the state. This is where we get to inform, sensitize, and also educate the general public on how to be an effective and efficient user of the road. All the segments that make up the program are also on course today and will be served presently after this time out. I am Oluwatoyin Olalekun. Please join us on this safety ride.
All road users in Ogun State. Do you know that you are only as valuable as the value you place on your life? The Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps wants you to know that life has no duplicate because we are only fulfilled when we get to your destination safely. That's why we say, don't make or receive calls while driving. Speed kills. Discourage your driver from going beyond specified speed limits. Don't distract and don't be a distraction to other road users. Don't overload your vehicle with goods and passengers. Okada riders should put on and fasten their crash helmets always and must not pick more than one passenger at a time. Truck and trailer drivers should have consideration for other road users because the road belongs to all. TRACE, safe and responsible driving.
Oh yes, safe and responsible driving is a must and should be a collective effort. To kickstart the program this morning is the safety tips segment, and today our focus is on tips on articulated vehicles conveying flammable products. Please stay with us.
On articulated vehicle conveying flammable products. Articulated vehicles are vehicles that have permanent or semi-permanent pivoting joints in their construction. Conveying flammable products in this context refers to transporting petrol, diesel, gas or kerosene from one place to another using tankers. Tanker drivers tend to be in a hurry because there are many miles to cover and loads to be delivered with deadlines to meet. When you drive a vehicle as large as a petrol-laden tanker, you are responsible for your safety of those on board with you, and other road users around you. So, the tanker driver must be in good health with the right level of both mental and physical alertness. Be aware of weather conditions and prepare accordingly. It's safer to remain in your lane as much as possible because the risk of accident increases when you change lanes. Never exceed specified speed limit for tankers, either within the city, on highway and on expressway, because your tanker can't handle curves and corners like smaller vehicles. It's a huge risk for a PMS or gas-laden tanker to make a U-turn before the roundabout. Avoid such risk. The company used in attaching the truck egg and the tank must be strong enough to prevent accident. Ensure your tank is not leaking in any form to prevent fire accident. Avoid overloading because it will affect the balance and braking distance of your tanker. A 33,000 liters tank should not be used to convey 40,000 liters or more. Avoid carrying tomatoes or any additional load on your tank to prevent overloading and tire burst. Repairing your tanker on the road will reduce road capacity and also endanger other road users. So, ensure your tanker is in good shape before leaving the depot. The use of dilapidated tankers to transport petrol, diesel, gas, kerosene, and other flammable products should be avoided at all times. A well-noticeable caution sign must be properly placed when your tanker suddenly develops fault on the road to prevent vehicles or motorcyclists ramming into it from behind. Tankers requires a large turn radius and a motorboy to help monitor the large blind areas of the driver. So, a motorboy must always accompany your tanker. Statistics has it that younger drivers conveying flammable products are more involved in accidents than older ones, and this is largely because of inadequate experience. So, Avoid usage of underage and inexperienced drivers. Every tanker drivers must have enough rest before embarking on a journey to prevent dozing off behind the steering wheel. Car drivers should avoid driving in between two tankers. Never pull into a space created by a tanker when making a turn, because you will be on the driver's blind spot. It is not safe to drive too close behind a tanker when going uphill or directly in front when a tanker is descending a slopely downward road. Driving a vehicle conveying flammable products is a huge responsibility. Drivers should be at the very best at all times behind the wheel.
To all road users in Ogun State, do you know that you are only as valuable as the value you place on your life? The Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, wants you to know that life has no duplicate, because we are only fulfilled when you get to your destination safely. That's why we say, don't make or receive calls while driving. Speed kills. Discourage your driver from going beyond specified speed limits. Don't distract, and don't be a distraction to other road users. Don't overload your vehicle with goods and passengers. Okada riders should put on and fasten their crash helmets always and must not pick more than one passenger at a time. Truck and trailer drivers should have consideration for other road users, because the road belongs to all. TRACE, safe and responsible driving.
Welcome back. Just gone by there was the Safe to Safe segment, which today is focused on tips on articulated product. And I believe that we have picked one or two tips from that clip. We are now on the discussion segment of the program, and our topic of discourse this morning is comparative analysis of road traffic statistics in Ogun State, TRACE Coalition. And I have with me in the studio as our guest, Director, Traffic Planning, Research and Statistics, TRACE Corps, Commander Michael Babatunde Ajayi. Commander Ajayi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Compliments of the season.
What should we say?
All right, to start with, can we have a breakdown of the 2020 road traffic accidents and crashes recorded from January to December as witnessed by TRACE Corps?
Thank you very much. Between January and December year 2020, we recorded a total number of 852 road traffic crashes, broken into three parts: the minor, the serious, and the fatal. 186 crashes was recorded against minor crashes, while 567 was recorded for serious, and 99 cases was recorded against fatal crashes. Yeah, there are vehicles involved in these crashes. We have 171 private cars, 153 private buses, 168 commercial buses, 189 commercial cars, 101 motorcycles, 52 tricycles, 155 medium trucks, 169 heavy trucks, and 93 other vehicles. Of course, people were killed and people were injured. For the number of people that were injured during the year, we recorded 990 persons, of which 695 were males, while 295 were females. For the number of persons that were killed during the year, we recorded 133 males and 43 females, totaling 176 persons that were killed during the year. Specifically, 1,855 persons were rescued unhurt by TRACE Corps, and that was due to our prompt response to 594 emergency calls during the year. Having said that, 1,650 motor vehicles were apprehended, and 346 motorcycles were also apprehended for various offenses during the year. If we look at the year 2020 figures and 2019 figures,
Okay.
you find out that the number recorded in year 2020 was lower than that of 2019.
Okay, I will actually still come into that. Okay, so in a nutshell, there was a decrease in the
Yes,
number of
there was
accident rates.
there was a decrease of 15.79% in the number of persons that were killed.
Okay. And why is that? What brought about the decrease?
Of course, due to the activities of the corps, due to the operatives on the road working the way they are supposed to work,
Okay.
right? Trying to control traffic at the point that they are supposed to control.
Okay.
And of course, public enlightenment, public education, training the drivers, sensitization here and there, both on electronics
Okay.
and print media. All those ones, accounted for the achievements.
Okay. Now, having said all of this, what are some of the factors responsible for the road traffic accidents or crashes recorded?
Actually, there are lots of factors that are responsible for road traffic crashes.
Okay.
But within year 2020, January to December, the ones that were majorly identified are this. One, excessive speeding. That is over speeding. That one accounted for almost 1/3 of the number of crashes that occurred during the year. Apart from that, consumption of alcohol and drugs, yes, was also picked as one of the factors during the year. Then driving against traffic. That is when you drive against oncoming vehicles. That one also caused a lot of near during the year. And of course, the use of cell phones. People are fond of using cell phones when they are driving.
That is so common.
And some will even try as much as possible to text while driving. All these accounted for, the number of crashes during the year. And lastly, our drivers, most of them don't rest. Some will drive for 10, 12 hours, no rest. Imagine somebody coming from the north, going to Lagos, traveling 12 hours, 13 hours without rest.
Yes.
By the time the driver gets to Lagos, Ibadan, axe is here, fatigue will set in. We just doze off and the unexpected will happen.
All right. Against this backdrop, what is the focus of this call in the year 2021 to checkmate the increase in road traffic accidents or crashes?
Yeah, of course, the first one is public education and enlightenment.
Okay.
We have been doing that, and we continue to intensify efforts in ensuring that we don't relax. We continue to tell people. We will not assume that, okay, we have told them yesterday, we won't tell them today. No.
Keep repeating.
Keep repeating. It's a continuous exercise. And of course, drivers training. Train drivers. We don't assume that they have no need. No. Continuous training.
And retraining.
Then apart from that, we are looking at establishing emergency rescue centers along the road traffic corridors in Ogun State, especially Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Lagos-Abeokuta Highway, and Abeokuta-Shagam Road. That is where we have most of these accidents occurring. Apart from that, we ensure that we secure more patrol vehicles. Traffic management has to do with movement of operatives from one location to another. If you don't have these vehicles, you find it practically impossible to do the necessary. So it is in our budget, and we pray that government will do for us. Even though government alone cannot do it, we'll be expecting corporate social responsibility, from the public too.
Men of means.
Yes, so that we'll be able to achieve our target of reducing road traffic deaths and injuries on our roads in the year. These are some of the plans we have. And in fact, talking about the number of men we have to work with, yes, we don't have enough. Government is trying its best, but just have to look elsewhere. And that is why we have gone into local government councils. We are looking at training some local government traffic mayors so that they will complement our efforts in their own jurisdiction. We have trained traffic mayors in Abeokuta South, local government, and we intend to train others too from the remaining 19 local governments so that we have enough hands to work with.
And I must say that that's a good development. All right. What would you say is the compliance level on the directive given by the state government on bearing the articulated vehicles complying with overhead bridges? Coming from our safety states, we brought on articulated vehicles. What would you say is the compliance level so far as the directive?
Yes, majority of them are compliant.
Okay.
The few ones that are not complying, yes, we apprehend them and they face the music. Once we've been told not to fly the bridges, we should desist from flying the bridges. Once we go against the rules and regulations, the got to be apprehended, you'll be asked to pay fines, your vehicle will be seized until you clear yourself. That is when you take your vehicle back.
So on the last note, Commander Ajayi, what would be your advice to the general public on how to be more safety conscious in the year 2021?
Honestly, this is a duty that has to be done by everybody.
Okay.
It is not trains alone.
Of course.
Everybody. People are dying on daily basis. And the way we are losing females and males through road traffic crisis, now it is getting to another thing entirely. So I want to advise people, when you are on the road, follow all the rules and regulations guiding the usage of the road. Do not overspeed. Do not drive against traffic. If you want to travel, you don't have to be in a hurry. You manage your time. Okay. Manage your time. Wake up as early as possible, set out on your journey, and arrive safely. Okay. The family is waiting for you. The children, the wife, the husband, everybody is waiting. So they want you to go safely and come back safely. This COVID-19 pandemic in the year 2020 killed 31 in Ogun State. In the same year, road traffic crashes killed 176. That's about 15% to 85%. A ratio of 3 to 17. That's too bad. Please, when you're on the road, let us behave normally on the road. The road is patient, but it does not forgive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander Michael Babatunde Ajayi, for coming to the program this morning. And we hope that when next we call on you, you oblige our request.
For sure. Thank you very much.
It's still Trace Afar on TV, and I've been engaging the Director, Traffic Planning, Research and Statistics, in person of Commander Michael Babatunde Ajayi. And after this time out, we'll be coming to the Vox Stop segment of the program. Please stay with us.
What safety measures you take while using the road with articulated vehicles like granite trucks, tanker, and the rest?
Yes, safety measures I take when I'm sharing the road with articulated vehicles is, first of all, I don't stay too close behind them. Anytime I see them, like if they're going up on a hill, I make sure there's enough space between two of us, because anything can happen. They can start coming down, and I don't want to be behind them when they're coming down. Or if they are coming down the hill, I try not to be in front of them, so they don't hit me or anything happens. So those are the safety measures I take when sharing the road with. I usually just wait for them to make their turns, because usually I know they leave some space when they want to turn to the left, so they usually have quite a few space, but I try not to get there, wait for them to make their turn so nothing happens to me and they just take their problems and just go.
All right. Why do you think it's necessary to avoid competing with articulated drivers while on the road?
I think it's necessary because, first of all, I do not want to damage my vehicle, because if they hit me, that's going to cost me, and it's just better that they move on and I just take my time and drive safely and get to where I want to get to.
All right. Lastly, you advise other motorists as regard taking these precautionary measures you have highlighted when using the road with articulated drivers.
I advise everyone to take this advice because it's good, it's safer for us, and we'll get to where we're going, and nothing is going to happen to us and our vehicle.
The measures you take while sharing the roads with articulated vehicles like granite trucks, tanker, and the rest of them.
Each time I'm sharing the road with articulated vehicle, I try as far as possible to look at their movements. When they are at the brow of a hill, I don't move close to them at the back, and when they are descending a hill, I don't try to stay at their front, because sometimes a brake and mechanical system may develop issues that can cause a mishap on the road. When they are turning, most times at the road, they used to give gaps at the right and the left. I try as far as much not to overtake, not to take advantage of that space, because they used to use that space to make their navigation so as to have safe landing. So as a matter of fact, I don't use the space that they create for their turning. It's quite important because I try as far as possible to avoid accident to avoid accident with them, to avoid damages to the cars, to avoid delays as well on the road, while one is trying to play sharp practices with them.
Okay, sir. Lastly, you advise other drivers as regards all the safety measures you have highlighted, sir.
I want to advise other motoring public to ensure that as much as possible, when they are using the road with articulated vehicles, they must be very conscious, very alert, and check that if at all you want to overtake any articulated vehicle, give them horn, give them signs, give them searchlights. Let them be alerted that yes, you want to take an advantage of them, so that both of you will be on the good landing.
To all road users in Lagos State, do you know that you are...
Good day, you're welcome to the Trace News of the Week. My name is Kehinde Adekoya. Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Code Trace is recorded 176 deaths with 990 persons sustaining various degrees of injuries in different road traffic accidents across the state in 2020. According to a release by Commander Michael Babatunde Ajayi, Director, Traffic Planning, Research and Statistics, Trace Corps, for the Trace Corps Commander and Chief Executive, Commander Sheni Ogunyemi, a total number of 852 road traffic crashes, which minors 186, serious 567, and fatal 99 were recorded. Commander Ajayi added that the crashes involved 171 private cars, 153 private buses, 168 commercial buses, 189 commercial cars, 101 motorcycles, 52 tricycles, 155 medium trucks, 169 heavy trucks, and 93 other vehicles. The release further stated that during the period, 3,021 people were involved in the various accidents, out of which 990 persons, as 695 males and 259 females sustained various degrees of injuries. Moreover, 176 persons, 103 males and 43 females were killed, and 1,855 persons were rescued on earth due to prompt response to 594 emergency calls via the Trace Traffic Whistleblower Initiative. In addition, Commander Ajayi stated that most of the road traffic crashes were caused by excessive speed, dangerous driving, driving against traffic, bad road, and mechanical faults. Comparing year 2020 to year 2019 period in the state, Commander Ajayi opined that road traffic deaths was reduced by 15.79% in the year 2020, while the number of persons injured also decreased by 13.39%. Nevertheless, he posited the resolve of Trace Corps to reduce deaths and injuries on the Ogun traffic corridor by pursuing rigorously and relentlessly a public education, training, and enforcement drive in 2021 so as to reduce fatality to serious, serious to minor, and minor to nil. Trace cooperatives have been commended for their commitment, dedication, and steadfastness towards ensuring the safety of road users
underground traffic corridor. Given this favorable representation in words was Mr. Bimbo Shoremi, the Chief Executive Officer of Volkman Concept, while rewarding 10 Choice Corps officers and men who were adjudged as being outstanding in effective service delivery in the year 2020 with 10,000 naira each. Mr. Shoremi urged them to be good ambassadors of Choice Corps, and indeed the state government being the first point of contact for visitors visiting the state, especially for the first time. Furthermore, the Volkman Chief Executive Officer requested other corporate bodies and men of means in the society to support Choice Corps in its onerous endeavor of making our roads safe, because government alone cannot do it. In his remark, Choice Corps Commander and Chief Executive, Commander Sheni Oguyemi, represented by the Deputy Choice Corps Commander, Commander Shola Bamidele, thanked Mr. Shoremi for identifying with Choice Corps as he normally does at the beginning of every year, in spite of the economic downturn most businesses are facing due to the coronavirus pandemic. In addition, Commander Bamidele saluted the spirit of comradeship exhibited by Mr. Shoremi in this regard and charged the 10 distinguished officers and men to see the reward and accolades showered on them as a call for more work. Therefore, they shouldn't be complacent, but rather continue to give their best so as to justify the confidence reposed in them. And that ends the Choice News of the Week. The program will continue shortly. My name is Kendi Adekoya. Thank you for watching.
To all road users in Ogun State, do you know that you are only as valuable as the value you place on your life? The Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps Trace wants you to know that life has no duplicate, because we are only fulfilled when we get to your destination.
This is where we'll be applying the final break on today's program. Let us continue to make safety our watchword. Until we come your way again next week, I am Oluwatoyin Olalikon. Enjoy your day.